AI can replace engineers right now. Not really. There's no excuse not to have deep technical skills. Master that. It's a deal breaker if you don't. These roles are overlapping because of AI.
Can you introduce yourself? What about you?
Sure, Travis. Worked at Honey. We got acquired by PayPal at the beginning of the pandemic. Worked at PayPal for about 4 years through the software engineering role, engineering leadership. Recently quit and thinking about next steps.
What kind of thoughts?
Joining another startup or maybe starting my own thing. I'm curious about the new AI tools just as a self-imposed limitation. Maybe it could be amazing or maybe it only gets you so far.
What are your feelings on AI in the software engineering field in 2025? Is it hype? Is it the real deal?
It's becoming more real. 2 years ago, I got my team on GitHub Copilot, which was the first specifically AI coding tool. And it was medium. It's good, autocomplete, it's helpful. It's not really worth the hassle. But 2 years later, the engines underneath these tools have gotten a lot better. And the tools themselves have gotten a lot better. It's time to reevaluate exactly how far we can take them because it's really progressing.
So with Honey and PayPal, were you integrating AI tools into your workflow?
Experimental at first, but because of compliance reasons at a big company like PayPal, also being fintech and financial stuff, there was legal ramifications to using LLMs trained on unknown data. There's risk involved in bugs being brought about by experimental AI written codes. PayPal in general was a little careful with it, but they were digging in deeper and it started to become more of a thing slowly.
So what's your feeling on the thought that AI could replace software engineers?
I think it's possible. It's a tool. Software engineers, we're not writing code just in a text editor. You have tools like autocomplete, like type complete, like search, like replace symbol. Then you have other tools like there's been generations of tools over the years that have made the software engineering job more productive, easier. And I see AI as the next step in that evolution of our tool set. So each engineer can become more empowered to go faster, do more. So it's really the same evolution now. Will it replace completely? Time will tell. You're going to have some kind of human oversight, I'm sure. But in terms of a superpowered coding tool, it's definitely getting there.
So what kind of engineers could it replace?
Who could AI replace? Now it's the grunt work stuff, spinning up boilerplate code, spinning up unit tests and stuff like that. But then you need the human eye to go in and say, okay, these are the product requirements. This is how we want it to be made and to oversee. Does it look right? Does it function right? What else do we need to do in there? The best AI coding tools now is like human in the mix. You're a director of a team, let's say, of software engineers that are AI, and you're directing them, you're correcting them. That seems to be where it's going, being like a senior engineer working with a team of mid-level engineers.
What is your read on the difference between a junior, a mid, and a senior engineer?
Autonomy is a big one. Creativity is another one. With junior engineers needing a lot of oversight, needing a lot of training, needing a lot of help, really. They take up a lot of time, and that's okay. You need a balanced team of juniors, mids, and seniors. You can't just have all seniors. That would just be a train wreck. And likewise, you can't have all juniors because you wouldn't really get anything done. So you really need a balanced team, and you want the seniors to be able to mentor the juniors and the mids coming up and finding their feet, and the seniors really like doing architecture, doing mentoring, and really doing the harder pieces of a project as well. And then creativity would be seniors are like, oh man, I was reading the API docs on this certain thing we're doing, and I found this cool little thing that we can use that to replace this, and it's going to make it way faster. And they're thinking about how to creatively solve problems in different ways, whereas a junior's creativity might be like, man, let me just get this thing to work any way I can. In code review, we can clean it up. Whereas seniors are thinking on that next level of creativity and problem solving.
So how does one go from junior to mid and more importantly, mid to senior?
Experience. You got to work with product managers. You got to work with QA people. You got to understand how things are made and get experience building it. You got to make a lot of mistakes. And you need to see the seniors and how they do it. And it just takes time to be a part of that team and to see how it's done, to see how those engineers are creative and how they do their thing. It just takes time, and you have to commit to it too. Some people, they're cool coasting at the mid-level. And again, I don't have any problems with that. If you want to stay at your same level, at your same salary, and be that core member of the team, we need those people too. After a while, it can become a drag to the team, but maybe go to another company or whatever. So it's your own inspiration and desire to make to that next level. But other than that, man, you just got to stick to it and put the time in.
Honey and PayPal. How big was the team of engineers that we were working with?
A few different teams. One team was like pretty small, like 3 or 4 engineers, product manager, designer, data scientists, worked on the main extension product. And that was probably 10 engineers, 2 product managers. You don't want the teams to get too big because it just becomes counterproductive. Keeping the teams between 6 and 12 engineers seems to be the sweet spot. And for experimental new products, we'll spin up a team with like 3 engineers and borrow a product manager, and that's really cool. You can move fast. So it depends on the maturity of the feature you're working on or the experimental nature. If it's the main revenue driver of the company, then it's one thing. But if it's an experimental new feature that you're trying to see if it works, then, you can run and gun it with a smaller team. It works a lot better.
Going back a bit in time, what were you doing in life before tech?
I was working at an investment firm, actually, doing financial work and analysis. And it came through just doing these giant spreadsheets and doing some automations and spreadsheets and researching tech companies and being tech adjacent, both in my interests and in what I was doing. And I was like, man, I could just write software to do this stuff. And like, I could be in these companies instead of these type of companies. So I was really attracted to building software aspect of it.
That's a fairly lucrative career that you were in before. How has it changed your life moving from that career into software engineering?
Software engineering is also a great lucrative career path. Honey was a startup that I had equity in that got acquired by PayPal, has publicly traded equity, and you get equity grants every year and equity refreshes, and stocks go up and down if you're smart with it. And if you're also hardworking and you're moving up the ladder from junior to mid to senior to engineering management and directors, both salary and equity can do really well. It's no secret that tech is a money-making business if you put the work in.
So it's been worth it, the change?
Yeah, definitely. It was more aligned to my interests, to the type of people that I wanted to be working with, builders, not just allocators or analysts or whatever. I'm glad I have that information and knowledge because it helps me understand business requirements and bridge the gap between technical knowledge, business knowledge, and kind of financial knowledge. It's a little more rare in the engineering field to have those different pieces of the pie. So it's been really helpful in that way.
If you were going to go into tech in 2025, it's more of a brutal market now. How would you be approaching learning to code and getting into the job market now?
I would say go into an area that's growing. When I got into it, certain JavaScript frameworks were really growing. Web-based applications were really growing. Learning things like React, learning these dynamic front-end programming techniques was a really big thing. Machine learning was starting to take off back then as well. So just find the biggest growth area in software engineering and target that. And then just, again, put the work in, put the grind in, and you'll definitely see results. But don't try to learn PHP right now or something like that. Go into the growth areas as best you can and put that out there.
You've been on the other side of the hiring table quite a few times. What advice would you give to people who are going into the market? What do you want to see from them if they're in an interview with you?
Got to be someone that you can work with. You have to be a team player, someone that can get along with the team, someone that can work with the team, someone that's, again, willing to put in the work and do what it takes. And also hard skills. You got to have those hard skills because it's a deal breaker if you don't. But yeah, the personality and then the hard skills, those are the 2 things.
What are the biggest overhyped trends that you're seeing in tech this year?
The biggest overhyped trends. Geez, I guess AI. Look, every new tech has the hype cycle where a new technology comes out of the blue and seems like, okay, this is going to change the world, and the hype goes through the roof. And then once reality doesn't meet expectations, there's this massive fall off where it's like, okay, the bubble burst. And then over time, that technology actually does change the world, but it just takes a lot longer than everyone was expected. So you have this S-curve of application. And right now we're kind of at the peak of the expectations for AI. Like, man, AI can replace engineers right now. Not really, but people are still kind of expecting that. And once that bubble kind of totally bursts, then everyone's going to be super disappointed. But then sneakily, it's going to do just that over time. self-driving cars. It was the same thing. There's a million tech trends that have followed that exact S-curve, but they all come back around. I mean, we've got Waymos driving around LA all over the place now, and I'm still amazed that there's no one driving that car. I've been in those, and I'm just like, okay, here we are.
What are the realities you wish non-technical people now knew about AI?
I would generalize it out of just AI and just say, don't skimp on the technical skills. If you're at all involved in product, whether it's engineering, QA, product management, data scientist, even to leadership, in 2025, there's really no excuse not to have pretty deep technical skills. You can't skate by on, oh, my main engineer can fill you in on all that. You need to know that stuff, and it's learnable. There's a lot of tools. It's getting easier and easier. These tools are getting better and better. The AI tools, a product manager can build an MVP now. An engineer can do a design using ChatGPT. Either one can write unit tests and do some QA. So these roles are overlapping because of AI. Engineers, learn some design, do some design. Product people, write some code. Use AI to get some code going, get a little MVP going. Designers too. You can make animations of how user experiences work, but hey, you can actually write a little MVP and just say, okay, here's the design, and then work with the developer, and you're already 30% of the way done with the code by the time the design is done. So these roles are overlapping in really cool ways, so don't skimp.